Hi little spookies! 'Tis the season to be a creepy bitch. So naturally I'm here to give you my top Halloween makeup tips. We're going to cover face paints, some different options for applying face paints, fake blood, how to make your own, how to make glitter blood. I know you want to know. Let's just get straight into it. First things first, let's talk about face paint. It is going to be the most versatile medium that you have to work with for costume or Halloween makeup, and it's pretty cheap. I know a lot of people don't necessarily want to add to their collection, and I'm definitely not encouraging you to. So if you have things in your makeup bag already that are going to serve a purpose, like you don't need to get black face paint, just use an eyeliner or a liquid liner, and you can do kind of, you know, a blood-esque thing with reds, lipsticks and stuff. Really dive into that makeup bag, see what you've got that can work with you, but work for you. But if you want to get into some serious costume or Halloween makeup, then face paint is definitely the way to go. Don't be scared of it. It's very easy to use, and I'm going to explain a couple of points for you now. So I'm in the UK and we have Snazzaroo. I think it's also worldwide, and these are water-based face paints. I've just depotted them. They come in like little rounds like this, and I've depotted them into a little container to make my own kind of palette. But these are water-based face paints. They're super affordable, they're like super kid friendly, and they're probably what you'll be able to get your hands on really easily. And I think they're like £3 or £4 around, and like I've had this for years and I've barely made a dent. I've got absolutely loads of it. If you kind of want something that is not quite as watery, or like has a little bit more colour payoff and a little bit more longevity, then Tag face paints, this is my super grubby palette. You can get a nice palette like that from Tag, they're called. And Diamond FX are really good for these rounds as well. I think these are, gosh, I bought these ages ago, but they're probably more around the £5–6 mark, but they're just great. They last for ages, and they're very accessible because they are water activated. Now the thing to know about water activated face paint is that water will also take it off. So if you're planning to go hard for your costume and go hard for partying, and you're a sweaty person, sweat is water, it's gonna run off. So I don't have any of my own, but there is something you can get called grease paint, or it will be face paint that is oil based, and that's only gonna come off with like an oil remover. It's not going to come off if your eyes are watery or if you're sweating. So keep that in mind depending on what kind of event you're going to. If you're just going to go to your friend's house and, I don't know, you're not a messy drunk, then water-based will be fine. But if you are going to go out and do lots of dancing, or if you're doing something where you want to kind of paint your full body, then look for something oil-based. I'm going to include a product in the description, which is a dupe of the Makeup Forever Flash palette, which will set you back like £80 to £100. This is a dupe. It's widely known in the makeup community, and it's more around £12 that you can get off of Amazon. So you can order it in time for Halloween as well. Depending on whether you're looking to cover a large surface like your whole face or body parts, or if you are kind of trying to do detail work or something with specific strokes and lines, then there's a couple of different options for what you can use. This is my grubby bag of face paint sponges. Gosh, I can't even remember what these are called, but if you just put face paint sponges, they come in full circles, and I just cut them so I have something to dab with. But you can also use the latex makeup sponges, the little wedges that you get, which you can get from like probably Poundland or, you know, like pound shops. Then you can use these as well. I kind of like these more because the texture's a little bit easier for water-based paints, but I feel like for oil-based paints maybe the latex wedges would be better, because this is kind of more holy and that isn't, if that makes sense. And then I say you don't need to go and get fancy makeup brushes or specific face paint brushes. Just use paintbrushes. I use paintbrushes for glittering and for even stuff like eyeliner and stuff. You can, you know, you can get a cheap makeup brush, and if you want to cut it up so it's like a little bit more precise or is in a shape that you like, then you can easily do that. So these are just paint brushes that I got from the works. Super duper easy. Oh, and the great thing about these little sponges and the latex sponges is you can cut them up into whatever shape you want. So I have like this little one, which I probably use more for kind of in here to get into all those nooks and crannies, or if I want to create like a blended line, you can just cut them up however you like. And I've got loads of odds and ends that I just keep in here, because the great thing about these makeup sponges, I'm not sure about the latex ones, I don't think I've done it with them, but for the face paint sponges, you can actually just put these in the washing machine and they'll stain, as you can tell, but you can use them again as many times as you want. The other thing for details I want to talk about is a stipple brush. I will show you this in a second what it looks like, but stipple brushes are great for details when it comes to like wounds or even a beard hair kind of thing, and just creating a bit of texture. So I will show you that in a second, but it's really cool, and these are super cheap as well. While I don't have any to show you right now, there is a very, very, very simple recipe for making fake blood, and you can kind of make other colours as well if you don't want to make fake blood, but if you want to make like green or purple, other gross things, yeah, I feel like this can be easily customized. So in the UK, when we don't have like, so in the US they have corn syrup, which is what you could use if you are there, but I couldn't really find that in the UK, so I went for glycerin. This is just from Boots. I think it cost, oh my god, it was like the cheapest thing, well under £1 for sure. And like, I don't know if you can see how kind of like gloopy and thick it is, but this with some food colouring, so lots of red, a little bit of black, maybe a teensy little bit of blue, for a nice deep bloody colour, will sort you out. And the thing I like about this is that it runs really well, and it kind of separates on the skin like blood does. But make sure you are not putting too much if you kind of will want a running effect, because it will just keep going. It doesn't kind of set down, but it is very, very versatile, and yeah, way cheaper than if you buy like, if you need loads of fake blood and you need to buy it from the Halloween shop, this will be way, way cheaper. I'm going to include a little bit of, I don't know if I've got any footage, I've definitely got pictures of when I made glitter blood using red glitter and just poured it all over my friends. So hopefully that's somewhere around here at the moment. Yeah, loads of fun. Okay, so let's get into our practical application tips for face paint. I'm going to be using my water-based face paint now, so they are pretty much all related to water-based face paint. But the first thing is, I'm sure you're used to when painting, or if you've used face paints before, you will have a cup of water, you'll take your brush, dip it in the water, dip it in the face paint. No, we don't like that. And the reason is because you put too much water in the face paint, and that really thins out the product, and it ends up giving you a streaky finish, which we don't want, because we want nice bold colours. So instead, grab yourself a little spray bottle, put some water in it, and you really only need like missed entirely, 2 spritzes, and then you can get a nice thick kind of wash of the paint. And I just like to kind of like really get it in there. Yeah, look at how nice and opaque that is. Like it is. That's good. And this is going to be really good for if you are doing like a base colour. You can get it nice and opaque and just really put on there nicely. It does mean that you will have to spritz like continuously. You just have to see what your product's looking like, spray a bit more, and then get in there and see what it looks like. So when it comes to creating a nice opaque white base, it can be quite hard. This trick, first of all, will really, really help you. And then you can use your sponge, which is dry, by the way, no water on this. This is the spray water is the only thing we're putting on there. And you can then just sponge it on, really press it down. And while it's wet, you can overlap it, get a nice dense colour. But what is really, really important is that when your paint on your face or whatever you're putting it on is dry, do not then go back over it with wet paint, because it ends up coming off. I'm not 100% sure why, but then you end up having to like fix a patchy, you know, white makeup, and it's not the one. So just work in your sections, overlap it with your new section. It's a little bit dry with a little bit wet, and you should be just fine. But yeah, there we go. A great way of bringing some texture into your face paint is a stipple sponge, which is this kind of irregular holy sponge. I don't really know how to describe it, but this is really, really great when you're creating kind of like a bruisey effect, or a bloody kind of like wound kind of thing. So I'll just show you. I'm using some red, and it just brings so much texture, and it's so cool. And you can really layer it with colours as well. So that's a bit of red. I'm gonna use a bit of black now, and you just dip it in like a sponge, because it is a sponge, and it just creates this really great depth as well. It's making the red and the black here is making me think of like, I don't know, saying like your face has gotten run over or something, like tire tracks. I think that's what it really looks like. Another way to bring in texture, a little less gory, a bit more pretty, is by using some fishnets or some kind of netted material. This is just a like a laundry bag for your delicates that I cut up, and because I can just wash it and wash it and wash it, I can reuse it as many times as I want, so it just kind of lives in my makeup bag really. But this is excellent for mermaidy scales, or just any kind of scales. I suppose anything kind of sea creature-y or snaky, this would be great for. Let me get my colourful palette. And you can use, like for mermaidy, I'd say use like pinky, purpley, bluey colours. If I can get the purple out, there we go. And it just creates this lovely, scaly, kind of netted effect. Alright, let's do some purple. So you just hold it over like this. Let's see, you kind of hold it in place. If you've got someone, if you're doing it on someone, you can definitely get them to hold it for you. So you can do multiple colours. So you've got purple, and then there's your blue and your purple for a nice netted effect. So if you want kind of big scales, you could go for some like large fishnets or large net material. And if you want, you could play with both, to be honest, kind of a big net and a small net. Or even if you wanted to get the like impression of lace or certain kind of lacy materials on your face, that would be really nice, like a white face with like lacy black details. Then you can use anything really that's got holes in it to create the pattern that you like. Okay, so those are my top tips for Halloween. Lots to do with face paint, your materials, super effective ways of bringing in texture and a bit of interest, but also making sure that you perfect those, you know, that application, like getting a nice opaque colour and things like that. So I hope you found them helpful. I've definitely enjoyed showing you them. This video is sponsored by my wonderful patrons of the Beauty Rebel Bubble. I'm having so much fun with them and doing lots of fun Halloweeny stuff for October. I'm actually doing a video for, or an event for every single week of October. This is the first one, so it would be amazing if you came and joined us for the next 4. You will be getting a live tutorial on a cutesy look, a live tutorial on a creepy / kind of gory look, and I will have a video coming out to YouTube very, very soon that is a DIY special effects with stuff that you already have in your house. So yeah, come spend some time with me and let's get spooky and have some fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. Mwah!